independent cost estimate to a Class C for both the repair and the rehabilitation, both the replacement and the rehabilitation options. We've also, as I mentioned previously, identified potential scope reductions to come up with the low cost that we have. In the top here we have all the construction costs, and underneath the subtotal for construction we have a whole series of soft costs, which are all part of the total project cost. Bottom line is that our current cost estimate for the replacement option is $89 million as compared to the 2008 estimate of $63 million. I'd like to just explain some of these differences here. With regard to the total construction cost has, our estimate is $7 million higher than the previous estimate. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, the first one is mobilization, site preparation, traffic management. These are all, in a sense, construction overhead costs. That reflects that you're building a movable bridge that has a limited number of contractors in North America that are qualified to build that. Demolition of the existing bridges really hasn't changed. The new bridge has gone up slightly, and that's really a reflection of the iconic nature of the design. Here we've gone up by $1 million to include things like the complexity of relocating pellets, as well as dealing with contaminated soils on Victoria West Sound. Everything below the subtotal here for construction really are soft costs, and in general are percentages of the subtotal for construction, and with the exception of maybe of property, are reflections of delays and other thinking here. The contingency has been increased from 7 to 15%. That's a reflection of, again, the complexity of the project, but also a certain amount of uncertainty with regard to what our construction costs are going to do in the future. It's not escalation, it's uncertainty. The base scope is worth $89 million. Now, there are a number of things that could be done to reduce that number. The first one is to delete the railway-related components, and that would mean stopping the railway in Victoria West. That would save about $12 million, and that $12 million is an all-in cost. That includes contingencies, engineering, escalation, and all that sort of thing. We note here that if the railway is deleted from the scope of this project, that to do a railway crossing sometime in the future will likely cost between 2 and 3 times more than this number here. It could also reduce the seismic performance from the 8.5 down to 6.5, and that would achieve a savings of around $10 million. We do not recommend this, given that this is an important structure and a lot of money is being invested in it. We don't recommend this, and as a result, we've not included it in the reduced scope cost of $77 million. The rehabilitation option has been estimated to have a total cost of $103 million. That includes, just like with the previous slide, all the hard construction costs, and under the subtotal for construction, a number of soft costs. Here we have a fairly large number for structural construction. That reflects an 8.5 magnitude seismic performance, as well as bringing the steelwork up to a standard which we believe will be maintainable for the next foreseeable future if additional maintenance work is done. The electrical and mechanical components of the bridge will all be replaced. That is a price tag of $14 million. And I'd like to just point out that that cost includes not just materials and components. There's a great deal of labor involved in that, in actually taking the old bridges apart in order to replace all the bearings and trying to install. It's pointed out to me at the break to just mention that when we have possession of one of those bridges to effect the rehabilitation, that bridge would either be locked in the upright position to do painting, or it would be taken off its bearings and floated off-site to do repairs to it, so that the navigation channel is always open. Again, the contingency here is a percentage of the construction. 25% contingency is a reflection that there's a great deal of unknown associated with the rehabilitation project. But we don't, and you'll never know until you start doing the work, exactly what the scope of the steel repairs will be. Engineering is a percentage. Property is the same as for the replacement project. And that's correct because we would still be improving the trailhead on the downtown side to provide for a good level or a good facility for people using a multi-use trail. Escalation and financing and taxes is estimated to be $13 million. That's higher than for the replacement option because the schedule is longer. That adds up to $103 million. Possible cost savings for the rehabilitation option are shown here. And the big one again is similar for the replacement option. If you terminate the rail service in Victoria West, you have no need of building a multi-use trail. You can use the existing railway bridge as a multi-use trail. That deletes the cost associated with that new structure, as well as costs associated with detours that we envisage. You would still retain the trailhead improvements on the downtown side to provide for a smooth transition between the downtown network and the users on the multi-use trail. That saves $25 million. Again, that's a number that includes contingencies, engineering, hard costs, as well as soft costs. You could reduce the seismic performance of the rehabilitation scheme to a 6.5. Again, we don't recommend this because of the amount of money being invested in this rehabilitation and historic conservation type of project. So we don't recommend that savings, which is $15 million. If you terminate the rail west or in Victoria West, we would be replacing the deck on the existing railway bridge to provide for a better surface for cyclists and pedestrians using that bridge. That would add $2 million back into the budget and reduce the scope for 8.5 level earthquake would be $80 million. Economic impacts are an issue with the rehabilitation option. If we build the multi-use trail, as I mentioned to you earlier, we would have 1 year of two-lane traffic only. And the estimated cost of the impact to downtown businesses as well as bus diversions would be $5 million. And Fred will explain to you after this slide actually how those economic impacts are established. If you do not have a multi-use trail and you go to the reduced scope option, you would have to close those bridges for 12 months. And the economic impact of that has been estimated to be about $3 million.